Hello, fourth graders. We will continue with technology to communicate. How can we use technology to communicate? As we see, talk on the phone, send text, send emails, use the internet, write letters, and send postcards. Look at the picture. Talk on the phone, send text, send emails, use the internet or modern way. And 5 and 6, I mean write letters, send postcards, old-fashioned way. And you listen, point and repeat.
Listening 32. Listen, point and repeat. 1,
Talk on the phone.
2,
Send texts.
3,
Send emails.
4,
Use the internet.
5,
Write letters.
6.
Send postcards.
Okay, before you read, look at the title of the story. Which kinds of technology do you think grandma has? Okay, we did already last week. Yes, maybe she can use postcards, right? She can send postcards. Okay. I will play a video about the story.
The Big Quest. Grandma's World.
Where are we? We're at my grandma's house, Mason.
Hello! What a lovely surprise.
Look, Sophie. Challenge. Invite Auntie Mary for tea tomorrow. Win a piece of Grandma's cake. Shh! Don't tell Grandma. That's easy. I can use my mobile phone. Excuse me, Grandma. Oh, no signal?
Oh, you young kids are funny. We couldn't send texts when I was young.
Have you got a computer?
Yes, I have.
Great. We can send Auntie Mary an email. But there's no Wi-Fi.
No Wi-Fi? Oh, you're so funny. We couldn't use the internet when I was young.
No signal. No Wi-Fi. How can we contact Auntie Mary? It's impossible. Hey, it's Lucky. And a clue. A postcard? We can send Auntie Mary a postcard. Dear Auntie Mary, please come to Grandma's house for tea tomorrow. Wait. Auntie Mary has got a new house. Grandma, what's Auntie Mary's new address?
It's 23 Hill Street.
23 Hill Street? Auntie Mary lives next door.
Ah.
Hello. Would you like to come to Grandma's house for tea tomorrow?
Oh, yes, please.
So you couldn't send texts or write emails 50 years ago?
No, but we could talk to each other.
Okay, we will continue page 24. Okay, remember the story. What does grandma say? Choose and say. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 options. Number 1, A or B. We could send text when I was young. We couldn't send text when I was young. Okay, remember the story. She said we couldn't send text when I was young, right? Okay. And number 2, we could use the internet when I was young. We couldn't use the internet when I was young. And she said B, we couldn't use the internet when I was young. The last one, we could talk to each other 50 years ago. We couldn't talk to each other 50 years ago. She said A, we could talk to each other 50 years ago. Just I want to mention some point. Look at the sentence from the story, choose and say. We use could and couldn't to talk about the present or past. We are using could and couldn't past time, right? And it must be the past. Okay, that's grammar time. You know this, these are subjects I, he, she, we, could and couldn't, and also verbs talk on the phone, send text, send emails, send postcards, write letters, use the internet. And look at the time period as past tense 50 years ago. You have to say past time. For example, last week, last year, last holiday, yesterday, whatever you want. And look at the sentence I, he, she, we. First of all, they have, maybe you can use they. These are subject, could or couldn't. This is positive, this is negative. For example, he could send text 50 years ago, or she couldn't write letters 50 years ago. Look, we use could and couldn't plus verb all the time, but could follows the same pattern as can. For example, we can send a postcard, we could send a postcard. Sometimes we use can and could at the same meaning at the same time. We can send, we could send, not past. Okay. Talk about what you could and couldn't do 6 years ago. For example, I couldn't swim 6 years ago, but I could write 6 years ago. Or you can use different subjects, she, he, they, we. For example, she could jump 6 years ago, but he couldn't jump 6 years ago. We use could or couldn't all the time, past. Okay, we will continue next week. See you. Goodbye.